Hello everyone.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to the second part of our GLS series where we will be touching on how does the recent GLS land sites impact mainly the RCR region.
Because for our previous episode, we were talking mainly about the OCR. So this is our second episode where we noticed that actually there are some areas in the RCR where the supply can be a bit high. And from here, we have actually found out other things which we are probably going to do a part 3 and a part 4 series. So stay tuned. And today we are just going to deep dive into the RCR zones, share with you what we have discovered.
So in our last video, we actually talked about OCR not having any supply. And this will result in the prices for OCR going to change. Or either that, the buyer's demand will start to shift to RCR because no choice already.
And then now here, OCR, actually certain plots, we may have possibly maybe more than 1,500 units coming in. So how should we react to it?
There is actually differences in terms of the different land sites, right? Which do you like over here? What is your favorite?
Mine,
Why it takes so long to decide?
RCR.
RCR should be your area, what? You like RCR, what?
I like CCR. Honestly, I do a lot in the south. I think Berlayar is something that I'll be closely watching. Back then, there was only one site launched for sale under Kingsford.
Hey, there also got a lot of PLH coming up.
And then subsequently, the other land plot was being put up for sale. And now they rezone a certain land, which now over there, we are going to have 3 sites coming.
What it actually means to you is, right, we are going to expect that in some areas of the RCR region, there is going to be a lot of units coming up.
Yeah.
So
As a seller, as a buyer, how is it going to impact us?
We are actually going to dive in what is the pros and cons between buying into areas that have a lot of supply versus no supply.
Based on our research, we're just going to be covering some areas, just 1 or 2 areas where there's a lot of supply upcoming based on the pipeline that we see. But before that, join our Telegram channel. We really have a lot of things to share with you. And sometimes we do have good deals coming up. I think you also don't want to miss all these deals. So tune in, do support us.
Hey, do like and subscribe to our channel.
So without further ado, this is one of the areas, as we mentioned just now, where there's a lot of supply coming in. As mentioned previously, last time, what we know that there's only one land plot sold, Telok Blangah Road. So the 2 land plots coming, the address is a bit different because of the road that leads to the condo itself called Berlayar Drive and Berlayar Close. But when you look at the map, these are the 3 land plots. So this one is Telok Blangah, this one is Berlayar Drive, and then the last one is Berlayar Close. So they're all within close proximity. And we can see that, for RCR region, I think something above 400 units is considered a quite good size. So these 3 are quite sizable plots that are coming. And we're going to be expected almost 2,000 units to be coming in this area.
So between the GLS to the launch, right? Actually, what is the timeline that we tend to expect for them to launch?
So if you are not sure about this, tune into our previous video where Vivian actually explained in that. But just to let you know, probably based on the land sales, let's say for example, the one for Telok Blangah, 1/2 2025, right? So very high chance they're going to launch maybe mid to end of this year. It's about 1.5 years to 2 years depending on the complexity of the land use. I would say ballpark is about 1.5 years.
Any sites that are between 2026, first half and second half will be coming in maybe in 2 years' time.
We explain this more in our Lentor Gardens Residences video as well. One more other area that we see in terms of having many supply. Some people may not be familiar with this place because in this area there's not a lot of housing.
Wow, so many this one.
Actually quite a lot. And you can see the first few are at Slim Barracks Rise, which is nearer to the One North area. In fact, some of them are going to TOP soon. And then a lot of them coming on, we do have a lot in the media circle. So you will notice here that based on the different confirmed lists, sometimes there also nobody bid for the confirmed list, even though it's confirmed. So confirm will sell, doesn't mean confirm people will buy. So it really depends. So over here, we can see that actually 2 land plots were not bidded. When government calculated in terms of the number of units that they want to sell, initially it was 2,007 as you can see here. This is the estimated number of units you can bid. Because these 2 were not taken, it has been reduced down to about 1,007. So what does it mean in terms of if I want to buy a house there and what are the developers that are entering there? I'm quite curious about it.
So when we are talking about so many different land sites that are upcoming, right? Particularly all these, of course, is going TOP. So if we just focus between, for example, Bloomsbury Residences, which already is now a post-launch ready, still selling. And then Hudson Place, which actually launched recently. There is a common thing that we see here is the developer is the same. In land plots like this is nice because there is a same developer. But we are also trying to figure out what if you come into an area where there is like A, B, C, D, all different developers, and what happens?
Because for Media Circle now, you can see that currently those over here, Bloomsbury, Hudson, and the one coming in Dover Road, they're all by the same developer. But what if the one in, let's say, for example, Berlayar and Telok Blangah, they're all different? Actually, some of the things that you can apply, this thinking, like you can apply to the other land sites as well. There are some others that we didn't put it inside. For example, Tanjong Ru, there's about 2 sites. Marina Gardens, there's a few. So these are the lessons that you can probably absorb first before you decide whether you are looking forward to the next land plots that will be eventually sold by different developers or the same developers.
So exactly like what Jay said, we are going to weigh out what is the pros and cons of buying from the area where there is same developer versus an area where there is different developers. And both of these are in many supply. Why we want to touch on this? Because in RCR region, we are going to expect that there is quite a few land plots that are upcoming.
And in our
Much more
previous,
as
our
compared to
previous video,
OCR.
what we see is that OCR not a lot, and there's a lot coming in the OCR Plus and in the RCR. So we just want to prep you guys in terms of how should we strategize when it comes to choosing what projects that we want to put as our first choice.
Which is, in this sense, because we are talking about Media Circle, so let's just go straight into an area where there is a same developer. So who is the developer?
Qingjian.
Qingjian is the developer for Hudson Place, from Bloomsbury, and also the upcoming Dover land site. So there are a lot of people talking on the ground because the land site for Dover, which is the latest GLS, right, was being bidded at a record high of 1556. So essentially, based on, for perspective for them, we remember, right, 1556 per square foot, that means what is like the highest per square foot they will expect to launch?
Wow, I cannot think because remember Sky on Holland was sold at 1,003.
So for perspective, this is like Sky at Holland, which is CCR prices. Can you imagine like this
Even
one?
Vela Bay similar pricing.
Vela Bay is like RCR, right? And then now moving forward for another RCR region, based on this year's land prices, 1,005. That's like even higher than the last few Holland prices, like the CCR prices.
Higher than CCR now.
So what we are seeing is the RCR prices actually catching up on last year's CCR prices. So if let's say this is 1,005, wow, can I say that they might high chance have to launch 3K?
Very, very high chance.
Or 3K plus, not sure. Not sure. But why we want to share with you this is because for Hudson and Bloomsbury, they are both by the same developer. So 1, 2, 3, same developer, which also means that there is a lot of talks on the ground saying that this developer will help to stitch up the prices for these two. So it will benefit buyers. So in this sense, because it is from the same developer, developers will take care of 1, 2, 3 project.
Meaning all three have to sell properly. If it's the different developer, then they have to compete in terms of the price.
Correct. Which is what we want to share later over here. But what is the downside of the same developer?
Your price is controlled, good and bad. That means you really have to buy the better things there.
Which also goes to our next part. What happens if a particular area that you are aiming to go into is by different developers? This is actually quite common because we don't know who is going to bid for the next few plots of land in the RCR area.
And also don't know whether they have a lot of money or not. Because if you are buying RCR, the land is going to be more expensive, right?
But what is the pros and cons of buying into an area with different developers? We're going to use another area which is in the River Valley and Zyon Road area.
Yes,
you all remember
my
or not?
favourite.
Y'all watched so many of our videos, right? We actually talked about this. In fact, right, last year and this year, there was so much buzz going on into this area. Particularly when we were doing analysis, we ourselves were also a little bit concerned because there is actually 2,700 number of units coming into this area.
One more coming.
There is one more here. Adding here is about 2,007.
But from the looks of it, I think sure can sell.
So Rivergreen was the first one which launched last year. This one launched almost all sold out.
Crazy, man.
2, 3, 4 bedrooms all sold out. Left 1 bedroom. Then after that, there was Promenade Peak did so. Then Zyon Grand. Then followed by River Modern also did very well because it was the only river-facing unit. Then the last one, GLS, that's upcoming. So what is the pros and cons about buying into area like this? Because this developer, all is different one. So all developers are different means what?
If all are different developers selling more or less the same area, that means that they will compete against each other. So when they compete with each other, definitely they will try to make different things, or they will try to do different pricing so that they can stand out.
Because like different characters lah for different developers.
Yeah.
And they also have different land plots, different unique selling point per se. What do we actually mean by this? We're going to take one example. This is Rivergreen, which is the first launch, and this is Promenade Peak, which is the second launch. So just by the sizes, we can already see that there is very big difference.
So-
Your client bought Rivergreen, right?
Yeah, about Rivergate. Don't worry, I think you're safe. Because let's say we are going for investment unit, then you don't want your unit to be so big, right? So Rivergreen, what we can see here is that the sizes are quite small. And as a result, that's allowed the quantum to be slightly lower. That's why we can see those units during the launch, the 4 bedrooms were the one that move faster. So we can get a 4 bedrooms, even though it's quite small, we can always hack one room to make it into a very comfortable 3-bedroom size. So those were the units that were moving quite quickly. And you can see that the average quantum for the project average quantum is only just 2 million.
But of course,
That's a bit higher.
developer was going for try to catch as much buyer as possible. So they focus on the quantum play first, because the rest of plots that are upcoming
More for own.
will be a lot of supply. That's why Rivergreen, I remember, there was a lot of buzz because the indicative price was so attractive. It was the price of the RCR region. It was very cheap. And for 3-bedder, I believe it starts from about 2 million. And that was like the sweet spot for many buyers, even in the OCR area too.
I think the purpose is that they want to give a price that is, don't think
Irresistible.
lah, don't need to wait for the rest. This one's
Correct.
sure cheaper.
So they attracted buyers because I will feel that Rivergreen, us, we do CCR quite a few,
Yeah.
right? So like Rivergreen, maybe it might not appeal so much to those that always stay in CCR one.
But I would say people who are very familiar in River Valley, you are definitely used to a certain kind of size.
Yeah.
So this size, maybe if you want to buy for own stay, I would say maybe you have to go for at least the 4 bedrooms, to be
Correct.
honest.
So these like Rivergreen, I believe the profile is like HDB upgraders, like younger people
You
who
want
don't
something
mind.
in the CCR, you're just on top of MRT at this kind of quantum. But looking back, I think when you compare some of the other areas like Tampines, right, what kind of price they're doing, I think it's a good choice in terms of going for Rivergreen.
Developer actually uses quantum play, so that was their strategy. But in Promenade Peak, it was very different. In fact, when we go to the show flat, right, we already see that in terms of landscaping, finishing, how you feel?
Different, just different.
I love the gym.
The Sky Gym, I have the High Rocks upstairs. Right?
I can cancel my
crowd
gym
full,
membership, sack my trainer also.
Sure or not? Later your gym trainer see the video. Then he asked him to buy one unit there. Then you can conduct training there.
Like, to be fair, I brought buyer there lah.
Yeah.
And they are the more used to the bigger size.
So
So they
more
will
used
never
to,
consider Rivergreen, but they will look at Promenade Peak.
To be honest, I like the 4 bedrooms for Promenade. The
Correct.
quantum, when you compare to the resale market, is actually very attractive. So also during the launch, the 4 bedrooms, they move first.
So you see the size in the 4 bedrooms like so different. Rivergreen is like 980 square feet. For Promenade Peak, it's like 1,004, 1,005 square feet. So although it's still like a bit smaller, but it's still something that I feel people will accept more easily as compared to what is Rivergreen. So as for 2 bedrooms, you can see that 657, 764 square feet. But Rivergreen built smaller, 527 and 603. So as a result, because of bigger size, then there was a higher quantum. You see the average quantum is like quite big difference, but the buyers there enjoy a lower per square foot.
Get
But
more
what is the problem here? Right? Relating to why we want to share with you this is because what if this launches one after the other? This will mean that you don't really have a control or don't really know how to
Okay.
navigate.
So,
For example, if I want to buy a 2-bedroom, my budget can fit Promenade Peak and Rivergreen. Which should I buy?
That really depends.
Which is why we also have a lot of thought process behind helping you decide this, because it's not easy for you to think about this, right?
The price difference maybe can be 200,000-300,000 for
Correct.
2 bedrooms.
Correct. Which is why we want to look into the developer's pricing strategy as well. So remember just now we have 4 different projects, and 4 different projects meant 4 different pricing strategies. So we're going to use this as an example to show you how does me and Jay actually help you identify if you are given in a situation in the next half of the year, for example, you don't know which ones to go for, what is a better one. Should you wait? Should you just jump the gun and go for it? This is the type of thought process that we will go through. And that's by understanding what is the past developers' pricing strategy. So the first one we want to look at is actually Rivergreen. Now remember, right, Rivergreen was actually smaller units first. What we can notice is the pricing strategy for this developer is they did not build up more on the
Size.
that means the 4 bedrooms, for example, are priced much higher per square foot as the other. They actually price everything almost the same. So you see highest floor is about 3.5, then lowest floor is about 2.7.
That's quite consistent across all the unit types.
Correct.
So we can see they actually price it based on the height, the floor level.
Whereas if I'm looking at Zyon Grand, there is a difference.
So you can see, for example, here, for the 5 bedrooms, 61 floor, bigger size, PSF higher, means the overall price higher. Leh. In fact, that is also the same for the 4 bedroom plus study. So consistently, we can see that these bigger units are actually more expensive than those in the 3 bedroom, 2 bedrooms category. Why? Because they probably know that based on the studies that they've done for the first 2 launches, they probably also know that the demand over there is more for the bigger units. And that's the reason why they price it this way. Maybe when those other launches that come up in the RCR, maybe the pricing behavior can be different. Maybe they may look more on the 3 bedrooms, the big one.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
4
it
bedroom,
depends
no.
lah.
It may depend, but in this area, it's like that. So you don't take this and copy and paste and go and apply it for another area because it may be slightly different also.
So can I say that, Jay, when we are going into a developer that has the habit to load on unit type, then what is actually the ideal range or ideal sweet spot for projects like this?
In this case, if you have seen our Zyon Grand video, I think that the sweet spot will be something around here because you get to enjoy a lower per square foot in terms of the entry, but yet you have the minimum 3 bedroom type over there.
Not only that, because when we compare this to the previous launch, can see that over here, the highest floor for Rivergreen was 36th floor. But over here in Zyon Grand, you get a lower per square foot, but 62nd floor.
Wow.
So it's 30 plus level higher.
Top of the world.
So these are the things that you do have to take note. And how to take note of this is by looking at a master plan plot ratio. A lot of work.
So another thing also because of the developer price strategy, right? So based on the land bid, then we actually spread the price across 60 levels. Based on that, based on the calculation, we're actually able to tell what will be the pricing on the higher floor. Sometimes maybe we tell by, hey, maybe we skip Rivergreen first. Let's wait for Promenade Pit and Zyon based on whatever pricing that we want to set. Maybe some people, they want to buy a bigger unit but lower PSF. So these are the people that we advise to ask them to wait. But some maybe have the quantum issue but really just want to invest in CCR because the rental is high. Then of course we told them to go for Rivergreen, but of course we don't want them to be the one paying 3,500 lah. Doesn't make sense, ma. Then very hard for us to do another business with them again later.
Of course, there is the last, right? There is River Modern because River Modern was the last launch. And for River Modern, the unique selling point is actually the river facing units. So over here, what we notice is actually the 4 bedrooms per square foot is much higher than those of 2 bedrooms. And in fact, because of this, right before launch, we also estimated that developers highly likely will put the most premium facing units at the river.
And the high floor very expensive.
It's really very expensive. Which
nothing
is
wrong because it does have its unique attributes, but ultimately it's up to your own preference lah.
So what is actually the pros and cons of such things? Because let's not forget, they are all different developers. So how to decide whether you should wait or whether you should go for it or not? So we're going to give you one example. If let's say you did not do any research and you just went ahead, because Rivergreen was the one that everybody scared FOMO, scared not buy into CCR, then what happened? So we are going to do this comparison between Rivergreen versus River Modern, where Rivergreen is actually the first to launch, whereas River Modern was the last to launch. Rivergreen, the 2 bedroom facing where no.
The condo in front.
So the view is block one. So the highest price units, usually last ones to buy are usually FOMO people, right?
You see that one, February 2026, just before River Modern launch.
Then you see these 2 bedroom units, 2 bed, 2 bath, actually transacted at $2.3 to $2.4 million.
That's right.
But River Modern, do you know the 2 bedrooms? Developer put this river facing on it. And the price, is it very similar?
Yeah, like 2.4.
In fact, here I can get 30 plus level, not low floor, 30 plus level and river facing.
Wow. How?
So in this sense, it's like the people who waited they actually got a much better deal.
That's right.
Because they're facing river, high floor. They buy into something that's unique because the rest of the River Valley Zyon Road area don't have this kind of.
For new launches, the 2 bedrooms, most of them along the river, the size is also quite big. So this is really just nice. The layout also not bad.
So it's also like in a scenario where in the first launch, if let's say for example, you have a bad queue number, do you chiong for units like this? Or do you have that clarity or that someone to tell you that you should wait because there is a chance that we might get a better unit at a more unique place?
Honestly, as an agent, takes a lot of courage.
And let's not forget that in the River Valley area, there's so many 2 bedrooms for sale. And just imagine you're buying a unit that does not stand out from the rest as compared to buying something like this. You're the only 2 bedroom development that face the river at this price. So in the future when sell, which one easier to sell?
At the end of the day, what we're trying to say is buy same price but different product. So would you have waited or not? And these are the examples more towards the high floor. Mid-floor, this maybe the situation may differ because don't forget Rivergreen, we are loading based on the floor level. So the highest floor, the PSF very low.
Lower floors are the ones that actually is very good to go for. And in fact, because developers price the lower floors much lower per square foot. So it means that if I go back,
so probably Rivergreen, I can buy low floor.
So Rivergreen, you see, I buy 2.7. I buy at the lower floors, I buy 2.7. But when we go back to River Modern, the 2 bedroom was like 2.8 to 2.9 per square foot. So today is like different floor levels depending on your queue number.
Depends on the loading.
Strategy that you are going to deploy is going to be very different because you must make sure that you're buying into the sweet spot units in that project.
So sometimes you think that I buy the best project, but the price also, definitely we always stress about getting the sweet spot. And I think that for different projects, it varies accordingly. Even in the same condo or same area, different projects will have different sweet spot. And if you have viewed our projects review series, you have noticed that. If you never, then watch lah.
But of course, what is the good side about buying into an area where there is a lot of developers in this area?
Different So if you're smart, right, then you know what to buy and what price for which project. And that's the difficult part.
Like Rivergreen, I would say that because they are first to go in.
Right.
Like your client, you help him shortlist a unit that is
mid
such
to
a
low
good price.
floor.
Really, really good price. Like convert easy to sell because we
Correct.
have the rest of the projects here to help you to support the price.
Ultimately, that's an investment unit. So based on the investment content that are going in, definitely very safe. However, different products, maybe you can go for different projects.
So that is the good thing about buying into areas like this. But of course, oversupply, sometimes developers are not so confident.
They always have some fear.
They don't have so much confidence and they don't want the future plots to be like a direct competitor with them. So in this sense, it's also good because developers will price some units cheap.
Sometimes when they are the last one, maybe the price can be quite high. I'll just show you this example. Just now we have shown you this example whereby the 2 bedrooms for River Modern may be more worth it based on the high floor compared to the first one to launch there. But as mentioned, sometimes they're the last plot, they very confident, right? So sometimes the price for different unit type can be higher than those who launched previously. So this is one example. You can see over here, River Modern, right? The moment we see the starting price, I a bit sweat already because we can see that the loading from the lowest to the highest PSF can be about almost $400 more. And then can you imagine this one is the bigger unit? This size is something that you cannot really find for a newer project in River Valley. The only exception is Martin Modern. Besides that, there's a lot of 1,004 square feet over in River Valley itself for the newer projects that is resale. But I just want to bring back to an example. Can you imagine those people who bought, because River Modern, the highest floor is 36th floor. So you can see that based on the PSF loading, it's about 3,006, almost 3,007 already. And that brings the quantum to be like almost can be a 6 million, almost $7 million property. That's not a problem because resale over there, we have transacted this quantum as well, like for those in the freehold side. Then coming back to here, what if you can get something that is on a much higher floor? PSF lower, how?
53rd floor, 5.5 million. Wow, 1 million difference.
Never mind, PSF also we save a lot. So based on that, which one was a better buy on the high side?
Of course, there will be people who still want river facing.
But 36th floor river facing, for me, I choose 53rd floor Sea Sentosa.
Because Zyon Grand, after all, the sweet spot is the tallest.
It's the icon.
Same as Promenade Peak, but Zyon Grand has that iconic feel.
And it's more direct towards the south facing.
So in this sense, ultimately there will be buyers who prefer river facing. But can I say that if it's 1 million plus $1.2 million difference, there will be also people who have a limited budget would rather choose Zyon Grand.
After all, it's still not a bad project, right? The
Super
architecture, when it builds up, it's going to be an icon of the area. These are the several considerations that you will have if, let's say, when it comes to an area where there's a lot of different developers. And that's where you really need proper planning to see whether you want to buy first or you want to wait.
Just to sum up, you'll notice that this second part of our video is very different from what we see in the OCR area. In the OCR, we do see that there is a severe undersupply in the next 2 years or so, causing the prices to shift. However, if you're somebody who is focusing on the RCR region, actually, there's quite a few things for you to take note of. Because there is quite a lot of number of units coming up in specific areas of a particular location.
Let's say, for example, maybe you want to upgrade, right? Sometimes you also want to upgrade in location. This could be a good opportunity for you to possibly explore these areas because of a lot of supply coming in. You may be able to get a good price for your own stay, good location.
Like particularly from OCR to RCR, this could be a good time. Because developers will think about what is coming up, their future competitors.
And next time you want to sell your OCR unit, it will be easier because future buyer, they also know that there's no upcoming supply. They'll be more than willing to pay your price first. And it could be a chance for you to go to RCR. So as we mentioned just now, RCR here, in terms of the new one, there's going to be a lot of supply, right? And then possibly here, you may be able to, got chance to get good deals. Can I also say here, maybe resale can consider?
OCR in our past video, we actually talk about a severe lack of supply in the next 2 years.
So your price go up.
For new launches.
So even for resale, there's a good chance depending on your location, maybe resale the price go up. So here price go up, here maybe got chance to get good deal. Do you think that actually is a good chance for you to bridge over to this gap? Because after all, in the long run, it's better to hold on to better location. You stay there, maybe you're happier. You have a better quality in terms of the property that you have. So I think maybe it's a chance for you to move into a location that's more central. It gives a lot more convenience to your family as well.
And we have seen particularly in new launches over here, in new launches, because expanding what you mentioned earlier, because over here there is more supply, developers will be less confident as compared to over here OCR where there is less supply. So in this sense, there is also a very high chance where the future price here could be the price of what RCR will be seeing today.
Very close.
I feel that this is a very good time for you. If let's say you want to move, thinking about buying into a new property, you should consider
sell high, buy not high.
So this is a very good chance for you to actually sell high if you stay in the OCR area and buy low.
Possibly low. Must buy the right one.
With that, we do hope that you enjoy our second part of our series. We actually enjoyed this particular content a lot. I think this is my favorite content.
I think we discovered a lot of things from there. We are going to launch maybe 1 or 2 more topics based on the GLS land sites itself. So stay tuned.
If you like our content, do remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to join us in our Telegram community. We hope to talk to you all more and we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.